So we're going to talk about a subject today that nobody wants to talk about, especially Miss Ruth. Your black tank, what is it? How does it work? Also going to cover all the components, the hoses, valve. Stay tuned. When I bought my RV, one thing I was deathly afraid of was like, holy crap, no pun intended. What do we have to do? How does it work? Like all this stuff. I looked at YouTube videos, there weren't many out there. We want to explain how it works, give you our experiences with it. Maybe it'll be helpful to you. So Ruth, let's talk about this panel.
This panel here shows all your tanks. This is your freshwater tank. This is your blackwater tank. And this is your gray 1 and 2.
So we have 2 tanks for gray and 1 for black. Just because one goes from the shower, one goes from the sink, they go to different areas. We're not gonna really touch on it other than why your gray water tank is your friend when you dump the black tank.
It's basically a sensor, and it shows you how much is in there. It shows you whether it's low, 1/3, 2/3, and it shows you full. Now when it comes to blackwater tank, you never ever want to wait until it's on the last one full. But then you don't ever want to empty it too early either.
Why don't you want to empty it too early?
You don't want to empty it too early because you want to make sure that there's enough poo in there. Liquids. You want to make sure there's enough liquids in there to swish around and properly empty it.
So when you dump it, there's liquid to wash everything away pretty much. I know. Not the subject people want to talk about, but we're going to do it for you guys. So push the button in the black.
So here, ours is 3/4, so ideally we want to do it soon, which we saved it so that we could show you and do it with you guys, and you guys can see. Now, another thing about these sensors, they will not always work. I know what you're thinking. What? They're supposed to work.
So, going back to that subject about the sensors, like you said, sometimes they don't work. If you don't have a lot of water in your tank at all times, in your black tank, the sensor's not going to work because stuff's going to dry on them and they're not going to sense. So, this is why we want to have extra water always. And we're going to show you those steps. We're also going to cover all the components, from the hoses to the valve and how do you do that, to the toilet itself, and then what we use to treat the water with.
We are here at our home base. We are hooked up and we do have water, electric, and sewer. Full hookup. So we're going to show you.
We're going to show you how to get down and dirty. No. We're going to show you where the connections are. So here's your connection. So your connection goes here. It connects to your pipes. Remember I said we had 2 gray tanks? Here is from the shower. See the pipe that goes all the way down? And it goes over there. That one is for the sink. The bigger one, which is right there, that is your black tank. Okay? And then just like these say here, gray and black. Here's the T-handle for the black tank, and there's the T-handle for the gray, and they're colored specifically as, you know, gray and black. The next thing we'll talk about is the hoses. We have 2 pieces. One's 10 feet, maybe 10 feet, the other one's 15 feet, I believe. Because when you go to different campsites, you might need one a little longer than the other. So this way,
I think we need to invest in one even a little bit longer because we have cut it close.
Yeah, but with this one, I'll show you. So this thing runs, as you can see. So I have 3 sections. There's 2 of these, and then this one here. And this goes right. Now we're gonna go ahead and pull the levers. So we'll start, like I said, with the black tank. And these are also important to have because it supports All right, so we dumped the black. You can tell by the weight of the hose that it's out. So now what we do is we take the gray tank and we dump that. Remember I said we had a little secret about the gray tank water? What it does, it cleans the hose out. So remember, she was supposed to do this, but you see she's not doing it. So
I'm sorry, I just can't.
but it's nothing.
I know, just the thought of it makes me want to.
You go ahead and dump that out. And what it does, it goes down and it cleans your hose from your black tank matter. And I wouldn't show you this before, but I'll show it to you now. It's clear water. So yeah, this is out here what you have to do. It's not that hard.
And tell them about that little piece there.
So that clear piece is an adapter. This piece of hose has it attached to it. It comes like that. Where I have another one that I use. So this piece of hose stays here at our home base. Then the other two pieces, the orange pieces, are the ones that I take on the road. Now that we're going to be jumping around, I'm taking all of them with me.
Question, and this is, I know why, but this is just for our beginner, our RV beginners who are going to have the question just like I did in the beginning. What do you have to have that little
Yes.
xylophone looking thing, that little like
your stand, your stepping stand? What that does, it gives it a pitch. So if you see it here, it goes from high to low. And then I have it dropped there because it kind of slopes down that way anyways. But I do have another one, but they're a pain in the butt because you would think they would make them higher and then it connects, but it's the same size. So it's kind of like an accordion, and it's a pain in the butt. So we just keep it like this, and it works fine. And that's it. I mean, that's all it is. Now let me show you this.
Just in case someone else has the question, how long typically does one with our size camper have to, typically with 2 to 4 people, how long do they typically have to dump? Every once a week?
How often do you use the bathroom? That's what's going to dictate how full or not it is. Then when you flush, you want to make sure that you use plenty of water. And listen, that's going back to the boondocking thing, right? You want to make sure that you don't overuse the water, but you need enough water in there so you don't get, you guys ever seen that little poop emoji? That's kind of what forms in there. It's called the poop pyramid.
A poop pyramid. Poop here, poop here, poop here, poop here, poop here.
Because when it flushes from the toilet, it goes directly down. So we'll leave that to your imagination, but you want to have water in there. So now I dumped the water, right? There's no water in the tank for the most part, but I want to show you this. This is your flush port. And what you do is you connect your hose here, turn on the water, and it has like a spray nozzle inside of there that blows water in your tank and your black tank. So it kind of almost like pressure washing it a little bit, and it gets all that stuff. I do this every other time that I dump because we're here and I have plenty of water in it, and I try to do it that way. And it works out pretty good. So I can't complain about it. You got to make sure, look, it says here, do not use the tank valve unless tank termination valve is open position. Can result in an unnecessary condition leading to illness or personal injury. That means your toilet's gonna back up, or it could pressurize and break. I don't know, I've never looked into that, but for us, I do this. I leave the valve open, and that way water just keeps coming down, keeps coming down. Now sometimes I do close it, like when I dump at a campsite, they always have a hose there. So what I do is I take that hose, I connect it here, I run it, and then remember we said we want to put about 5 gallons of water or so in your tank at all times. Instead of flushing the toilet and using our freshwater tank, I use this to fill it, and I go up to the little panel and I touch it and I check the sensor there, just like Ruth was showing us earlier.
Which I'm going to show you again once it's dumped.
That's simple, easy. I'll go ahead and close these. Now some people leave the gray open at all times, and that way it just flows, but I like I said, I like using it to clean my hoses, these hoses. And the black, you don't, like we said before, you want to make sure you keep plenty of water in there.
Exactly, because if you don't, it can dry up. Not only will it smell.
So let's talk about smells.
So explain what you're doing there, Adrian.
Right now, I'm filling the tank. And again, remember I said 5 gallons, so if you look at the tank, you want to get it, you want the water level right to the spray valve, similar, as far as the height of it. And then you dump it down, and then you do it again. I do this about 3 or 4 times, and I get enough water. So what's it look like?
Here we are. We have dumped the black water tank and we have dumped the gray water. Now the gray water is where it should be. It says low. Now the black water, now this is a prime example of what I was saying before. This could be one of a few things. It's still saying 3/4 full even though we dumped. It could be either this acting up, which it does periodically and sometimes doesn't work, or it could be that the shits hit the ceiling again, which has happened once before, and we have a clog.
So I just dumped the tank for the second time, and here's where we're at. I put a little more water, so we're good. I mean, we're not gonna be here because we're traveling, so I'd rather leave a little more water in there. I'm gonna add some additives and show you what we use. Some people will use Dawn liquid soap when borax. I've never done that.
Correction, we have used just Dawn. It's safe to use and it is a nice way to keep the toilet lubricated and clean periodically, not all the time, but we don't use the borax with it.
Now, I do use this down the sink, the kitchen sink, because you saw that clear water, how good it looked. That helps clean the hoses after you dump. All right, so this is what we use. So this is the brand. It's called Aquamax. You got to put 8 ounces to the 5 gallon of water. I just eyeball it. I've been doing it long enough, I guess. So what I do is I just put it in there. And I wish it was like some of the oil cans where it tells you the levels, but
You don't think that's too much?
Cost too much. Nope, it's not too much. What I do is it's step on the step pedal and I dump it. And I would let the water wash it. And with the amount of water in there, it dilutes it and it does a good job.
There's other brands and we have used several. There's brands like Happy Camper that I've heard are great brands, and there's other brands that we'll also post here. But we have used this one before.
Oh, wait. There's also these like Tide Pods little ones.
Yeah, we've used
and those are
before.
okay, but I think this works better because
Yes.
this is more concentrate. Now, toilet paper. There's a good, bad, and ugly about this, right? So you can't use your Charmin Fresh, fluffy 3-ply toilet paper because think of it like a septic tank, right? It's not safe. So, what do we use, Ruth?
The $1 million question that everybody always says, oh, you can only use RV toilet paper. That is not true. Number one,
Well,
you can...
hold on. That's not true in our case, in our experience.
And this is our third RV, and knock on wood, besides your typical little clog we had, which we took care of it ourselves, and it wasn't from using the wrong type of paper, we've never had any problem. This here, Scott, it says specifically it's safe for RV, but...
Wait, it says rapid dissolving. Okay?
But the normal Scott is only 1 ply. Just use a couple, just roll it a couple of times. That is also safe because it is 1 ply and it dissolves the minute it hits the water. So don't spend all this money on RV toilet paper because it is a lot more expensive. This is what, like $3?
That one was $4.29.
$4.29. Typically, this is between $3.50 and $4 for 4 of them, just for the regular one. This was $4.80 something, whatever he said. The RV toilet paper for 4 rolls is normally between $7 and $10. I don't know about you, but I want to save as much money as possible, and I can't see paying between $7 and $10, especially nowadays. Everything is much more expensive. Just get yourself either this or the regular Scott. It's perfectly fine. Trust me, we've owned 3 RVs, and it's worked well for us.
So there you have it. I think we covered pretty much everything.
If you have any questions, go ahead and post it in the comments.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a newbie. When we were new, we had tons of questions and we couldn't find not too much about great tanks. Let us know, maybe what you do is different. Let us know in the comment what you do different. How you put water in, whether you use a bucket, whether you, tell us how you dump in it and how you clean your gray water tank. We want to know it.
Blackwater.
Blackwater tank, I'm sorry. Tell us how you dump your Blackwater tank. Tell us in the comments. We want to know. Tell us what toilet paper you use. And if you like this and any of our other videos, please like and subscribe. It helps us so much. And
man, make sure you hit that notification bell.
make sure you hit that notification bell because we have a lot of fun stuff coming up this summer.
So I think that's gonna be about it as far as the toilet
And the shit.
the black tank. At the end of the day, when we were new with this is, I think, the most scary thing that people worry about when they buy an RV. Like, oh my God, how do you do this? How do you do the black tank? We're gonna do another video later on how do you do this on the road, right? How do you dump at a dump station, that kind of thing. Don't worry, we're not gonna show the little emojis. We're gonna, you know, talk about it, the process of it. I hope this helps any new people. If you guys have been doing this longer than us, please let us know. By all means,
tell us so we can do it too.
Yep, because we're still learning even though we've been doing it for a while. But at the end of the day, this is more to help anyone out there that might have a question on like, hey, how do you do that?
So with that, hasta la próxima.
Until the next.
And even Honey says goodbye.